Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, where we dive deep into the exciting world of rare and valuable coins. If you're a coin collector, treasure hunter, or just someone who loves uncovering hidden gems in their pocket change, then you're in the right place. Today, we're exploring a small but mighty piece of American history, the United States of America Roosevelt one dime from 1980 with the P mint mark. At first glance, the 1980 P Roosevelt dime looks just like any other 10-cent coin you might find in your change, but what if I told you that one of these small silver-colored dimes could be worth a fortune? Yes, this unassuming coin can actually be a hidden treasure in disguise, and today we're going to uncover everything you need to know about it: its origin, design, mint details, collector value, rare errors, and the secret that makes one of these dimes worth thousands of dollars. So grab your coin jars and get ready, because this story might just change the way you look at dimes forever. Let's start by traveling back to the year 1980. America was entering a new decade, the economy was recovering, technology was evolving, and coin production was in full swing. The U.S. Mint had been producing the Roosevelt dime since 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who guided the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His image on the dime became a tribute to his leadership and his efforts in founding the March of Dimes organization, which fought against polio and helped millions of Americans. Now, the 1980 Roosevelt dime came from three mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The one we're focusing on today is the 1980 P dime, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This year is historically important because it was the first year the Philadelphia Mint used its P mint mark on dimes. Before 1980, Philadelphia coins had no mint mark at all, so this small letter, P, marked a new chapter in U.S. coinage history. For collectors, this detail makes the 1980 P dime stand out among other Roosevelt dimes, because it represents a first, and in numismatics, firsts are always special. The dime itself is made from a copper-nickel composition, not silver, as many people might assume. The obverse side features the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left, with the word Liberty inscribed along the edge and In God We Trust just below his chin. The date 1980 sits near the bottom, and to the right of Roosevelt's neck, you'll spot the small but important P mint mark. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar design of a torch in the center, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace and an oak branch symbolizing strength. The words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and one dime are neatly inscribed around the edges. Simple, elegant, and meaningful, this design has remained unchanged for decades, a testament to its timelessness. But what makes the 1980 P dime so valuable? The secret lies not in its design or metal, but in its condition and rarity of certain errors. While millions of these dimes were minted, most have been heavily circulated over the years, making them worth only their face value. However, a small number of 1980 P dimes were struck with rare minting mistakes or have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, and these are the ones that collectors crave. Some of the rarest 1980 P dimes feature off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing details due to striking errors. In numismatics, such errors turn an ordinary coin into a rare collectible, because no two error coins are ever exactly the same. A dime that has a unique error, especially one in flawless mint state condition, can skyrocket in value at auction. Another important factor that adds to the coin's value is its grade. Professional coin grading services such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on their condition using a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. A 1980 P Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 or higher can be exceptionally valuable because so few have been preserved in such outstanding condition. Even the tiniest scratches, wear, or discoloration can lower its grade and drastically reduce its market price, so collectors are always on the hunt for that perfect example. Over the years, high-grade examples of the 1980 P Roosevelt dime have appeared in auctions and have stunned the coin-collecting world with their final selling prices. Collectors and investors alike have realized that this seemingly ordinary coin represents not only a piece of American history but also an opportunity for incredible value appreciation. If you happen to come across a 1980 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, the first thing you should do is examine its condition carefully. Look for sharp details, a clean surface, and that original mint luster, the shiny finish that makes a coin appear freshly struck. If your dime looks like it's never been used, it might be worth sending to a grading company for professional evaluation. Now here's where things get exciting. A perfectly preserved 1980 P. Roosevelt dime, graded at the highest levels, has reached auction prices that could leave you speechless. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for a coin in top condition because such specimens are incredibly rare. Imagine having a small 10-cent coin tucked away in a drawer that turns out to be a hidden treasure. For many collectors, the thrill is in the hunt, searching through rolls of dimes, visiting flea markets, checking inherited coin collections, and scanning every piece of change that comes their way. You never know when that rare gem might appear, and that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. The 1980 P dime proves that even the smallest coins can hold enormous value when rarity, history, and condition align perfectly. Every time you look at a Roosevelt dime, remember that you're holding more than just currency. You're holding a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders, a symbol of perseverance, and possibly a hidden fortune. And now, the part you've been waiting for, the ultimate value reveal. A rare 1980 Roosevelt 1 dime with the P mint mark, preserved in flawless mint state condition and highly sought after by collectors, has been valued at $75,000. So check your pockets, your drawers, your old piggy banks. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. A small piece of history could change your life forever. Today. Because in this video, we're going to take a fascinating journey into the world of one of the most overlooked yet surprisingly valuable coins, the 1977 Roosevelt 1 dime. At first glance, this little 10-cent coin might not look like much. It's small, silver-colored, and easy to ignore. You might have even spent hundreds of these over the years without giving them a second thought. But here's the twist: among the millions of dimes produced in 1977, a few rare ones can be worth an unbelievable amount of money. So don't let the size fool you, because the 1977 Roosevelt dime has a story that could make even the smallest coin collector's heart race with excitement. Let's begin by stepping back in time to the year 1977. America was in the midst of great change. The nation was healing from the challenges of the early 1970s, disco music filled the airwaves, and the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of coins for everyday use. But one of those everyday coins, the Roosevelt dime, would soon become a collector's favorite thanks to its fascinating history and hidden value. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just 1 year after the death of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt wasn't just a leader, he was a symbol of strength, courage, and hope during one of the hardest times in American history, the Great Depression and World War II. The dime was chosen to honor him because of his work in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign dedicated to fighting polio and improving public health. Since then, his portrait has graced the front of every dime minted in the United States. Now, the 1977 dime continued that proud legacy. It was produced at 3 different U.S. Mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, which appears just above the date on the coin's obverse side, tells you where your dime came from. A D stands for Denver, an S stands for San Francisco, and if there's no mint mark at all, it was made in Philadelphia. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar left-facing profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, surrounded by the word Liberty on the left, the motto "In God We Trust" below his chin, and the date 1977 right next to his neck. On the reverse side, you'll find a beautiful design that's been used since 1946, a torch in the center representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace and an oak branch representing strength. Around the edge are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 dime. So, you might be asking, what makes the 1977 Roosevelt dime so special? Why are some of them worth thousands while others are only worth 10 cents? The answer lies in 3 critical factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's start with condition. Most 1977 dimes have been heavily circulated, passing from hand to hand over decades. These show scratches, dullness, and wear. But if a coin was never used, if it was kept safely in a coin collection, untouched by circulation, then it's considered to be in mint state. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC are evaluated on a 70-point scale, where 70 means a flawless, perfect coin. A 1977 dime in mint state condition can already be worth much more than its face value, but once it reaches the top grading levels like MS68 or MS69, it becomes incredibly rare and desirable to collectors. Next, we have rarity. Even though millions of these coins were minted, time and circulation have reduced the number of pristine examples. Many coins from 1977 have been melted, lost, or worn beyond recognition. Finding one in perfect condition today is like discovering a needle in a haystack. The scarcity of these top-quality coins is what drives collectors to pay premium prices for them, and then, there are the famous minting errors. Errors happen when something goes wrong during the coin's production process. Maybe a die was misaligned, the metal blank was off-center, or the minting press struck the coin twice by mistake. These small mistakes create one-of-a-kind pieces that stand out from the rest. Error coins are a favorite among collectors because each one is unique. For example, a 1977 Roosevelt dime with an off-center strike or missing design elements can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how noticeable and unusual the error is. One particularly fascinating type of 1977 dime that collectors hunt for is the full torch variety. On the reverse side of the coin, look closely at the torch. If both the horizontal and vertical lines of the torch's flame are perfectly clear and detailed, that means you've got a full bands, FB, or full torch, FT, dime. These coins are rare because they show the full design the mint intended, struck with perfect sharpness. Collectors love these because they demonstrate superior craftsmanship and are extremely difficult to find in high-grade condition. The 1977 Roosevelt dime may not be made of silver. By this time, the U.S. Mint had long switched to a copper-nickel composition, but that doesn't mean it's worthless. In fact, its value comes from the quality of the strike, the precision of its design, and the rarity of high-grade examples. Many people assume only old or silver coins can be valuable, but modern-era coins like this prove that even recent decades can hold surprising treasures. If you have a 1977 Roosevelt dime, take a good look at it. Check the mint mark, study the details, and see if the design is crisp and clear. If it looks unusually sharp or flawless, you may want to have it professionally graded. Sometimes, the difference between a $1 coin and a $10,000 coin is just a few tiny imperfections you can't see with the naked eye. It's amazing to think that coins like these are still out there, hiding in plain sight, sitting in change jars, resting in drawers, or waiting to be discovered in old collections. The thrill of finding a rare coin is like discovering buried treasure, and stories like this remind us that incredible value can often be found in the most ordinary places. Collectors from around the world continue to search for top-condition 1977 Roosevelt dimes, and when a perfect one shows up at auction, the bidding wars can be intense. Each coin carries with it a piece of American history, a reminder of craftsmanship, precision, and the enduring value of something small but meaningful. Now, here's the exciting part you've been waiting for. A perfectly preserved 1977 Roosevelt 1 dime, with flawless details, a brilliant uncirculated finish, and exceptional condition, has been valued at an astonishing $91,000. Yes, that's right, $91,000 for a 10-cent coin. So before you spend your change or overlook those dimes in your drawer, take a closer look. You might be holding one of the rarest treasures of modern American coinage. Today's video is going to be one of the most fascinating episodes yet, especially for those who love discovering valuable American coins that most people overlook every single day. We're diving deep into the world of the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from 1980 with the D mint mark. Now, most people see a dime as just 10 cents, something that disappears into the bottom of a drawer or jingles around in your car's cup holder. But the truth is, this tiny coin can be worth far more than its face value. In fact, one specific version of the 1980 D Roosevelt dime has shocked collectors and investors around the world with its unbelievable value. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a dime the same way again. Let's start our story back in the year 1980, a period of bold fashion, booming technology, and change across the United States. The U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins for circulation to keep up with the growing economy, and among them was the familiar Roosevelt dime, a coin that had already become a staple in American pockets for more than 3 decades. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who guided America through some of its darkest times, the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was not only a leader in politics but also a champion of public health, and his connection to the March of Dimes campaign made his image on the 10-cent coin a fitting tribute. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has carried his portrait proudly, symbolizing strength, compassion, and progress. By 1980, the U.S. Mint was producing the dime at 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin we're focusing on today, the 1980 D, was struck at the Denver Mint, and you can identify it by the small d mint mark just above the date on the obverse side of the coin, next to Roosevelt's neck. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse, or front side, features the left-facing bust of President Franklin D. Roosevelt with the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1980 and the D mint mark that tells us it was minted in Denver. The reverse side showcases a design that has remained virtually unchanged since 1946, a torch in the center representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the right representing strength. Around the border are the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and 1 dime. The coin may look simple, but it's a masterpiece of American symbolism, freedom, unity, and resilience captured in just a few grams of copper and nickel. The composition of the 1980 D dime is not silver. By this time, the mint had long switched to a copper-nickel clad composition, with a pure copper core and a nickel outer layer. Despite lacking precious metal content, this coin holds immense collectible value for other reasons: rarity, condition, and minting perfection. Now, why would a 1980 D Roosevelt dime be worth more than a new car? The answer lies in the details that most people never notice. While millions of these coins were made, not all were created equal. Some dimes came off the press with slight variations or minting errors that make them incredibly rare and valuable today. Others were preserved in absolutely flawless condition, the kind that grading services label as mint state or proof-like. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. When a coin comes out of the mint and is never used in circulation, it can retain all of its sharp details and its original luster, the bright, shiny finish that makes it look brand new. Over the years, coins that avoid scratches, nicks, and tarnish become highly sought after because so few survive in that state. For the 1980 D dime, coins graded MS-68 or higher are exceptionally scarce. The majority of coins from that year were used in daily transactions and show significant wear. Finding one with perfectly sharp details, no visible marks, and strong eye appeal is like striking gold. And when you add in the possibility of a rare minting error, such as a double die, off-center strike, or missing design element, you have the makings of a true numismatic treasure. Collectors also search for what are called full torch or full bands dimes. On the reverse side, if you look closely at the torch, you'll see a series of vertical and horizontal lines in the bands that wrap around it. When those lines are fully visible and sharply defined, the coin earns the full torch (FT) designation, a mark of superior strike quality. These coins are extremely desirable and command a significant premium in the collector market. Another interesting thing about the 1980 D dime is that it represents a milestone for modern U.S. coinage. This was one of the first few years when minting technology reached a level that could consistently produce high-quality strikes, yet tiny variations still slipped through, and those minor imperfections are exactly what drive collectors wild. It's fascinating to realize that a dime, which most people see as practically worthless, can carry so much historical and collector significance. Every coin minted in 1980 has its own journey, from the moment it was struck in Denver to wherever it may be today. Some were spent and forgotten, others were stored, and a rare few remained untouched, preserved as miniature time capsules from the past. Imagine holding one of these pristine dimes in your hand, a coin that looks as if it just rolled off the minting press decades ago. It's bright, it's flawless, and under magnification, every tiny detail shines perfectly. That's the kind of coin collectors dream about. And when one like that appears at an auction, the excitement is electric. Bidders from all over compete for ownership of what might be the finest known example, pushing the price higher and higher until it reaches jaw-dropping numbers. For those new to coin collecting, this is the magic of numismatics, finding beauty, history, and value in something so small that most people overlook it entirely. The 1980 D. Roosevelt dime proves that you don't need ancient coins or gold pieces to find fortune. Sometimes, all it takes is a sharp eye, patience, and a bit of luck. So the next time you're counting your change or looking through a jar of old coins, take a moment to check the dimes carefully. Look for that D mint mark, check the condition, and pay attention to those fine details. Because hidden among ordinary coins might be one of the rarest treasures of modern American coinage. And now comes the most thrilling part, the value reveal. A rare 1980 Roosevelt 1 dime with the D mint mark, preserved in perfect mint state condition, displaying sharp detail and brilliant luster, has been valued at an incredible $94,000. Yes, you heard that right, $94,000 for a single 10-cent coin. Just imagine finding that in your coin collection or pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible world of the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1991, a coin so small, yet one that has captured the hearts of collectors for decades. And believe it or not, some of these dimes can be worth a fortune today. Most people glance at a dime and see just 10 cents, a piece of change they toss into a jar or slide into a parking meter. But every once in a while, a coin comes along that proves appearances can be deceiving. The 1991 Roosevelt dime is one of those rare treasures that could turn ordinary change into extraordinary value. So stay tuned, because we're about to uncover the full story behind this coin, from its origin, its unique details, its potential minting errors, to the unbelievable value it can reach today. Let's start by stepping back in time to the year 1991. It was the dawn of a new decade in America. The Gulf War had just begun, the internet was still in its infancy, and a gallon of gas cost around $1. While the world was changing fast, one thing that remained consistent was the U.S. Mint's production of coins, including the timeless Roosevelt dime that had already become an American icon. The Roosevelt dime, first introduced in 1946, was created to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt led the country through some of its darkest times, the Great Depression and World War II, and he was also instrumental in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio and improving public health. To honor his memory and his efforts, the dime was chosen as the perfect coin to bear his portrait. By 1991, the Roosevelt dime had been circulating for 45 years, and the design had become instantly recognizable to every American. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the left-facing portrait of President Roosevelt, along with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date 1991. Just near Roosevelt's neck, you'll find the mint mark, a small letter that tells you where the coin was made. For 1991 dimes, the U.S. Mint produced them in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The regular circulation strikes came from Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, while the proof coins were struck in San Francisco, S mint mark. On the reverse side, the design is both elegant and meaningful. It features a lit torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left, representing peace, and an oak branch on the right, representing strength and independence. The inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 dime complete the design beautifully. Even though it's small, this coin carries the symbolism of the American spirit, liberty, peace, and strength united in one design. Now, what makes the 1991 Roosevelt dime so special? After all, millions were minted that year. The secret lies in a combination of factors: condition, rarity, and sometimes even minting errors. You see, coins are graded based on their condition, from heavily circulated examples that show wear and tear, to uncirculated pieces that look just as they did the moment they left the mint. A coin in perfect mint state condition, often graded as MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, is extremely rare. The reason is simple: most dimes enter circulation, where they get scratched, rubbed, and damaged. Finding one that has survived untouched for more than 30 years is like finding a needle in a haystack. Collectors pay close attention to details: the sharpness of the design, the brightness of the luster, and the overall quality of the strike. Some 1991 dimes also have what's known as a full torch designation on the reverse. This means that the vertical lines and horizontal bands on the torch are fully struck and clearly visible, a sign of exceptional minting quality. Coins with the full torch feature are especially sought after by collectors because they demonstrate perfect die pressure and alignment during the striking process, but that's not all. Every so often, rare minting errors occur, turning ordinary coins into unique collectibles. These can include double die errors, off-center strikes, missing elements, or die cracks. A double die error, for instance, happens when the coin's design is accidentally struck twice at slightly different angles, creating a shadow or doubling effect on the lettering or details. A 1991 dime with such a visible doubling could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its visibility and condition. There have even been cases of coins accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a dime could have been struck on a blank intended for another coin denomination. These types of mistakes are extremely rare, and collectors pay huge premiums for them because they are one-of-a-kind, beyond mint errors and grade conditions. Another key factor that affects a coin's value is its eye appeal. Even within the same grade, coins with better luster, fewer contact marks, or a more vibrant appearance can fetch higher prices. Collectors love coins that stand out, coins that shine, coins that tell a story through their preservation. The 1991 Roosevelt dime, though modern, represents a perfect balance of artistry, history, and numismatic craftsmanship. The fact that it's part of everyday currency makes it even more fascinating, because anyone, anywhere, could still stumble upon one without realizing its true worth. Imagine finding a dime in your change that's actually worth a small fortune. That's the dream that keeps collectors searching. So, how can you tell if your 1991 dime might be valuable? Start by examining it closely under good lighting. Look at the details on Roosevelt's face, the lettering, and the torch on the reverse. If the lines are sharp, the surfaces are smooth, and there are no scratches or wear marks, you might have a high-grade example. Next, check for the mint mark. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint in 1991 do not have a mint mark, while those from Denver will have a D, and the San Francisco Mint proofs will show an S. Proof coins, especially those that have never been touched or circulated, can also bring impressive prices among collectors. Once you believe you found a potential gem, it's a good idea to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. Coins certified by trusted companies often command higher prices at auctions because buyers know exactly what they're getting. Over the years, several pristine examples of Roosevelt dimes from the early 1990s have sold for astonishing prices. The combination of rarity, perfect preservation, and collector demand can push their value to unimaginable levels. The 1991 dime might not have been made of silver like its pre-1965 ancestors, but in perfect condition, it can outshine many older coins in value. Think about it: a 10-cent coin that has been part of daily life for decades, often forgotten or ignored, can suddenly become a centerpiece of a coin collection worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's the magic of numismatics, the study and love of coins, because every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story can make you rich. Before we wrap up, let's reveal the jaw-dropping figure that makes the 1991 Roosevelt dime such a fascinating coin to talk about. A flawless, uncirculated 1991 Roosevelt dime in mint state condition, showing a perfect strike and brilliant luster, has been valued at an unbelievable $98,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $98,000 for a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the ground. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that many people see every single day, but very few realize how extraordinary it can truly be. We're talking about the 2001 Roosevelt 1 dime, a coin that's worth only 10 cents in your pocket, yet in the world of coin collectors, it can reach an absolutely stunning value. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed to discover that some of these 2001 dimes are valued at an unbelievable $100,000. Before we get into the details, take a moment to imagine this: you're checking your change after buying a coffee or cleaning out your old coin jar, and suddenly you notice a small dime dated 2001. It looks ordinary, right? But what if that tiny coin could actually be worth more than a luxury car or even a small house? That's not a dream, it's the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story can turn a simple piece of metal into a treasure worth a fortune. Let's begin our exploration by going back to the year 2001, a year that marked both progress and challenge for the United States. It was the dawn of a new millennium, a time of technological expansion and historical moments. The U.S. Mint continued its legacy of producing millions of coins for circulation, including the beloved Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime, as many of you know, was first introduced in 1946, just a year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The coin was designed to honor the memory of a leader who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II, and who also inspired the founding of the March of Dimes, a campaign dedicated to defeating polio and improving children's health. It's fitting that the dime, representing Roosevelt's enduring impact, remains one of the most recognized coins in American currency. On the obverse side of the 2001 Roosevelt dime, you'll see the familiar and dignified portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left, with the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust. Below his chin is the date, 2001, and next to it, the mint mark. The mint mark tells us where the coin was struck. For the 2001 dime, there are 3 possible mint marks: no mint mark for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. Each mint played an important role in the coin's production that year, but the rarest and most valuable examples are those that stand out in their quality and condition. The reverse side of the dime, designed by John R. Sinek, carries a design that perfectly captures the spirit of America. It features a lit torch at the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on one side for peace and an oak branch on the other for strength. Above it reads United States of America, while the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, reminds us of the unity of the nation. The bottom of the coin reads 1 dime, completing this small masterpiece of symbolism. Now, what makes the 2001 Roosevelt dime so intriguing for collectors isn't just its history, but its potential rarity in perfect condition or with unique minting features. Millions of 2001 dimes were minted, over 1.5 billion, in fact. Most of these coins went into everyday circulation, used for purchases and pocket change, which means they quickly accumulated scratches, wear, and damage. But a very small number, and we mean very small, were preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition. These untouched examples, especially those graded MS68 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, are extremely rare and command incredible prices at auctions. When collectors look at a dime, they don't just see a coin, they see the tiny details that make it stand out. A Roosevelt dime in perfect mint state condition shines with original luster, showing no signs of wear, nicks, or discoloration. Even the smallest imperfection can drastically reduce its grade and, therefore, its value. There's also a special category that collectors look for called full torch. This refers to the reverse design, where the torch's vertical lines and horizontal bands are fully struck and crisp. A full torch dime is an indication of a perfectly executed strike, and these are highly desirable because they demonstrate exceptional minting precision. But condition isn't the only thing that can turn a 2001 dime into a 6-figure treasure. Some of the most valuable dimes ever discovered have been those with minting errors. These rare mistakes can occur during production when something goes slightly wrong in the minting process. Examples include double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled, off-center strikes, where the image isn't properly aligned, missing mint marks, or even coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. These anomalies are considered numismatic gold because they're one of a kind and can never be replicated. There have been reports of 2001 Roosevelt dimes with misaligned strikes, slight doubling in the lettering, and other unique imperfections that make them stand out from the billions of regular ones. A coin like that, when authenticated and graded high, can easily sell for thousands, and sometimes, for far more than anyone expects. Now, let's talk about what truly drives the incredible value of these coins: collector demand. Over the years, coin collecting has grown into one of the most popular hobbies in the world. Enthusiasts from every corner of the globe search for unique pieces that complete their collections, and modern coins with high grades or rare errors have become especially sought after. The 2001 Roosevelt dime, despite being a relatively new coin, has proven that modern issues can also reach legendary status among numismatists. Imagine this: a coin you've had sitting in a drawer for over 2 decades, or maybe one that's been part of your pocket change since childhood, could actually be one of these rare treasures. That's why collectors often emphasize the importance of checking your coins carefully. Sometimes, the smallest details can make all the difference between a dime worth 10 cents and a dime worth $100,000. Let's paint a picture of what makes such a dime so valuable. Suppose you come across a 2001 dime with flawless luster, razor-sharp details, and that sought-after full torch strike. The coin looks as if it just rolled out of the mint yesterday, untouched, perfect, and gleaming. Then, suppose it gets professionally graded by a top agency and earns a top-tier grade like MS-69 or even the elusive MS-70. Suddenly, that simple dime becomes a centerpiece in the world of collectors, a symbol of perfection and rarity. When such a coin appears at an auction, bidders from around the world compete for ownership. The rarity of such pristine coins drives their price higher and higher until it reaches a level that would astonish the average person. Some of these coins have already crossed into the 5-figure range, and when combined with unique attributes or exceptional provenance, they can exceed even that. There's also a deeper reason why people are drawn to coins like this. Coins are tangible pieces of history. They've passed through countless hands, witnessed eras of change, and represent the story of a nation's economy, art, and identity. Holding a Roosevelt dime is like holding a small piece of America, and when that piece is perfectly preserved, it becomes both a historical artifact and a symbol of luck. If you're curious about whether your 2001 dime might be valuable, here's what to do. Take a close look at the coin under good lighting. Examine both sides carefully, look for the mint mark, the condition of the torch on the back, and any unusual marks or patterns. If it appears flawless or has something out of the ordinary, it's worth getting it checked by a professional. Even if it turns out to be a common one, the thrill of the search is part of what makes coin collecting such an exciting adventure. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the reason why this 2001 Roosevelt dime has captured the attention of collectors and treasure hunters alike. Among the rarest examples ever found, those in absolute perfect condition, untouched by time and displaying that gleaming brilliance only seen in top-grade coins, have been valued at an incredible $100,000. Yes, you heard that right. $100,000 for a single dime. A coin most people wouldn't think twice about could actually be a life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you get change at a store or sift through an old collection, take a closer look at your dimes. That tiny coin dated 2001 could be your ticket to an unbelievable surprise. Thank you so much for joining me today on this fascinating journey into the story of the 2001 Roosevelt dime. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable coin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another amazing coin story. Remember, treasure doesn't always come in big boxes of gold. Sometimes, it's hidden in the smallest coin you carry in your pocket. Keep searching, stay curious, and who knows, maybe one day, you'll find a dime worth $100,000.